Hey, so among things no one's ever asked for, I thought I would do a video of me doing some drawing. I don't know if anyone would find that interesting, but I think it's sorry. It's going so well so far. This can't go wrong at all. But anyway, I've already drawn this sort of nightmarish looking zombie vampire situation. So now I'm going to go over it in some darker, more refined, as refined as I can get, um, inks with quotations because this is all digital. So inking really isn't. It's the same as it's a program. It's someone figured out how to tell a pen to look like a brush on a screen that's for your phone. And now I'm here. Here I am. What am I doing? Okay. Do I want to go black or do I want to choose another color? Sometimes it's fun to choose a different kind of color for your inks, but I guess not today. And here we go. Maybe give it a 9.5. See how that goes. Whoa. Yeah, a little bigger. All right. Do. So I'm a big fan of drawing dead things, or undead things, as it were, or mysteriously not sure if they're dead or not dead things, zombies, skulls. While I'm not a fan of the vampire mythos, this is looking kind of scraggly. I do for some reason like the look of vampires. You know, with the teeth and the eyes, and they're part of they're a creature. Since he's kind of an undead zombie-ish thing, I would give him a sort of a broken pupil, like it's diseased, like his eyes are diseased. Although it's too big. They still have a nice glint because they're probably moist. Oh, I used my thing. So I'm gonna put a little bit more grotesqueness in here in his eye. It's probably itchy and infected, needs draining. Little shadow, make it look a bit more inset. Similar to this. Actually, you know what? Let me look at this. I hate this. I hate it. I'm not going to finish it. Now, here's the beauty of digital drawing is and this has always been my problem in the past, is I would just fuck up everything. And I would just erase and erase and erase. But with digital, I can go back and forth. I can completely, retry. It's pretty interesting, especially with the concerns of AI, where it's a developing system that makes art easier to make for those who, for whatever reason, don't feel they have the skills or the resources to do it themselves or hire someone else. So, so while that's, bad, on one hand, this new technology has allowed me to become more proficient because I can just go back and fix things that I would have just had to leave in the past. You ink something and you ink it bad, and it's just like, well, that's ruined. Great pencil's gone to waste, because I'm more of a penciler. I enjoy pencil lines more than anything. sometimes when I ink, I feel like this is sort of unnatural. But that's sort of, maybe that's the point. Inking is just defining something, making it look a bit more established. When you leave things sort of sketchy, as I do, even as I ink, it kind of, I guess some would claim that it kind of loses any sort of reality or any realistic depiction, because you know it's like the bottom, the first draft, as it were. I don't know. I just like pencil lines because they're so natural and erratic. So when you go over them with purposeful intent, sometimes it can lose that energy. But at the same time, I do like the effects, or I do like the results. That was the word, of inking of something, especially when you still have the pencils underneath. You haven't had to sacrifice your pencils for the inking. You preserve those pencilings. Ears are always sort of a fly-by-night kind of thing. Sometimes you think, well, that's good, and other times you think, that looks terrible. But sometimes ears, it's something that's so complex that people don't really take much of a look at it. Ears, and you only know you've screwed up an ear when it looks wrong. You can do it wrong and have it look right, because for some reason our brain just says, yeah, that's an ear, that's fine. We don't really pay attention to ears. Look, I'm speaking for myself, obviously it's anecdotal, but I just don't think people notice ears. I notice ears. My mom actually, she used to make dolls and she would sculpt ears, and she was obsessed with looking at people's ears. She would stare at my ear all the time, like, I'm just looking at your ear, she'd say. And of course, her being my mom, I'd be annoyed, because that's what you're supposed to do with your mom. You're supposed to, I'm my own person, so everything you say is wrong. But I know so much more about things, mother, jeez. But, that was her studying her art. So why be a dick about it? Although it didn't stop me. What are you gonna do? Families are problematic. Let's just say. I want this to sort of look like his nose isn't his skull, but just sort of decaying. Plus, since he's part vampire, I've decided, I think, they have that sort of, vampire bats have that weird upturned nose. That, they probably should have put on Batman, that weird, because bats are weird looking. I mean, I get why they're scary. I get why the villains that Batman hopes to intimidate are, they're a cowardly lot, as he says, and superstitious. So bats are like, they're terrified of the idea. I think anything in the darkness that you can't quite define, but there's trouble because it's making these weird noises, like that weird flapping, bat flapping, and so forth. And they make screams. See, I'm going to go back in time, because I liked how this pencil connected. So I want to preserve that as much as I can. I may have overdone this. I need to add a little bit more darkness to match the other side. Although, frankly, if you're a decaying corpse, I suppose one eye is always going to... I love asymmetry, if that's the term. I can't remember. It feels like it was when I remembered it being that. But I like it when things are different on one... because that's just how life is. People aren't perfectly I mean, the ones that are considered the most beautiful are symmetrical. I guess that's the eye telling itself to the brain, well, that's just about perfect. But it feels like there's an emptiness to that perfection. That you really, there's that famous picture of Harrison Ford where he's one half of his face looks happy and the other half of his face looks angry. And when you separate them, you can see it. I prefer a duality like that. Like there's something on his face that makes him live in both those things. Like, boy, he loves acting, but he can't stand crowds and asking dumb questions. And I get that. I would get that. But I think that's what he brings to all his roles as well, especially the most famous ones, where he's just like in danger but having fun, or trying to do something in a unconventional manner. That's Harrison Ford. But I like that sort of duality of people. I think everybody has the capacity to be many things, not just two things, but many things all at once. Their personalities are myriad, which I was told by a Facebook friend means a lot. So I kind of like this. Now, I kind of had fun with this mouth because it's all crazy. I want it to look like he just maybe had someone for breakfast. And his mouth is all misformed and all suckered up because he was, attached to a person, draining them. So maybe he's a little swollen, a little bit more puffy than normal, but so I wanted him to have this great big weird fish mouth. These teeth are see now, look, I can confuse myself because these are teeth. This is a lip that's like chapped, but they look the same. So sometimes I confuse myself, so now I have to concentrate on this lip, give it a little depth. This is a very nice brush I use here. It's in this phone app that I draw with on my phone, because I just like having, before the phone I would just have little notes with doodles on them, and then sometimes I just scan those into a computer and then like work on them in various other formats. This looks a little too jokey or novelty store. So let me look. I really like that line. Maybe I make this one just a little bit more perturbed. I don't think that's the word. Protruding. That's a good drag queen name, Pat Truding. That's for free. Whoever wants that. Pat Truding. Or Patty Truding. No, Pat Truding is better. That'd be better. Yeah, that's good. I sometimes want to add, creepy teeth, but then that sometimes confuses the concept of teeth. I guess in this regard it seems to be working okay. Usually you want to leave the teeth fairly clean, because you don't need a lot of detail on your teeth. It just complicates things, but I'd never let that stop me. My own advice. These gums, these diseased gums. Ugh. Ugh. Give this more of a black. Looks like he's all opened up. I'll give him these. First, I'll thicken the lips a bit more. And give him diseased gums. Oh my God, what's wrong with you? You're sick. You have a sickness. just want to add a little shadow so it looks like they're a bit. Did I get? Oh shit! Fucked up. There. Okay. Okay. And then we finish up our gums. Maybe give another little glint on his. I should actually make these. This coming out more. See how I can just alter everything with ease without requiring multiple things. See, now that I've done that, the other one looks bizarre. Oy. See what I do? Maybe that one's... I don't know, it's just not looking right. Might have to revisit that. It almost looks like a rodent, like a gopher or something. I don't know. Now I'm just gonna add these weird skin lines, like, you know, his skin's all messed up because it's all dry and weird. And there's dry patches and wet patches, and it's just a mess. Can you imagine what's even going on underneath there, you know, like some guy's diseased corpse? I'm gonna give him kind of a double chin. Like, you know, like that. Like his skin is just glopping off him. This is when you start getting into some shadow, which will bring the, give it depth so that the face becomes more perturbed. My laugh created this interesting line. I'm holding my phone on my stomach, so when I laugh, sometimes it will cause these things. But then that I like. I like the way that looks, so I'm just gonna keep it. Although I hate that I've tried to duplicate it again. All right, let's see. Let's make it dark. Give it some, but not too dark. This is also gives it some texture, and it looks like there's some light bouncing off of the dark parts, but not enough that you can make things out. Let's make it out, baby. That's a beckonism. A beckonism. Give this a little shadow as if his ear is casting some, which gives some weight to his ear. Now we go to the other ear, which is just going to be as simple as I can make it. And we'll start up with his forehead. See, here's the thing where I kind of give myself these wavy, wacky things, but that's only just sort of a placeholder for, you know, more line work. This is probably the least interesting thing, and I'm not even like trying to be one of those immodest people. It's like, oh, I just don't know if this is gonna work, but we'll see. I mean, I don't know if this is what people want from anybody. I suppose most of your, people want to watch some better known artist working, which is fine, but I think this offers a look into the technical aspects of anyone who does any kind of drawing or painting or anything. I remember another story about my mother. We went to the Museum of Art one time in Columbus, and it was an impressionist. They were doing impressionists. They rolled out all their on loan from the estate of Johnson Fairchild, who collected, massive amounts of paintings, probably stolen from the German Jews by the Nazis and then redistributed. All that nonsense. I have an original Rembrandt from this. But I remember seeing one, and I do believe it was, although, was Rembrandt an impressionist? No. But I do remember seeing, I think, one of his pieces in another part of the museum. And I was looking at it, and it was a painting of a face of a fella, of a guy, I suppose, of the era. And when I looked closely at it, I could see the pencil marks underneath. And it fascinated me because it's like, I never really thought you could do that. You always think a painting is sort of this perfect form of work that, it's a masterpiece, but at the same time, you can see the bare bones underneath. You can see the artist sketching it out, figuring it out, working it out in his mind, in his head, with what he knows about the character he's depicting, whether it was someone who he knew and was sitting for him, or him just, randomly drawing anyone he wanted to. The fact that I could still see his pencil marks was like sort of surprising to me. And it opened things up that, everybody's just sort of working it out. You build up to, a final product. There's a lot of, and things don't have to be perfect is the other lesson that I was, I think, trying to get to, but things do not have to be perfect, and there really aren't that many rules, if any. You start thinking to yourself, well, I can't put that there because this and that. And it's like, why not? Well, you can at least try it. Or who cares if it's, someone else. It's just you start thinking independently, critically, and trusting your own instinct. Just like I'm not real happy with how I'm shading this forehead. So I think I'm going to go a little broad just to get some lines in. Although I hate how my lines are clumping up. Boy. I mean, I don't want this to be too long, but if I over ink it, I'll end up going backwards. So I'm, in a weird way, gonna try to just deal with it. See, I don't like how that's all there. But whatever. And now that I've put that in, now I feel like I need to fill this in, and then you're gonna go too far. You're going too far already, Rich. You're going too, you son of a bitch. What have you done? Oh, God. Gives it a sheen, I guess. There's a little bit of a sheen, but now I'm thinking this line's just hanging there. Put a little bit more hair. Figure, if he's a zombie vampire, he's probably not too interested in how his hair comes out. He's probably got more important issues on his plate. Anyway, this line needs to now be integrated, in my mind, to the texture I'm forming. Let's get some of this blood coming down in there. I'm very happy with that tooth and not happy with this tooth. Okay, I want to get more depth in the eyes. And, this won't take very much longer. It's almost over. But I do want to show that what I also like to do is put my paintbrush in eraser mode and start adding more lines, but then give it a little bit more depth. Maybe I can fix my situation here. Maybe not. I'm gonna give him the chapped lips. I'll extend it down here like he's got a real messed up mouth. His mouth's all messed up. Oh, so anyway, that looks like he's wearing some sort of sack, but I like it. This is always fun with hair. Hair always comes alive when you start taking away little strands of it. It starts to really like pop. Same with eyebrows, but you don't want to go crazy on that. You just want a little bit of highlight, like it's catching some light. Of course, then you can add a few little lines, separate some shapes out. Let's see, ear. Just kind of separate the ear from the face so it's not so, doesn't cause a sort of, I don't know what they call it. Winding down, winding down. If you've gotten to this level, if you listen to this point, well, I feel sorry for you, fella. I don't know, or ma'am. I don't know what you're thinking. So I'll try to make the last few minutes interesting. I'll sing you a song about an ear that needs another line so it can look like it's more. Oh, I love this. Look how that looks. Let's get rid of this so it's not overextending. No. Now, the other thing I like, and just as I spoke about earlier, is I like sort of seeing my inks underneath or seeing my pencils underneath the inks. But let's see what it looks. I kind of got to get to this here real quick. Let's see what it looks like without the pencils underneath. So that's what it looks like without the pencils underneath. Now, normally I would probably color this or add some shading or do something like that, and maybe I will later, but I gotta fix these teeth because they suck. But anyway, so I hope that was all right. If you like that, I don't know. Did you? You can let me know in the comments.